that you have been praying for. Like for you right now, you're in dreamland. The team you have, you're happy. Then for you, how many of you in this audience today, for you, your hands have been cut off, they left them outside, and then you don't put up your hands? By show of hands also now, since your hands have been cut off and put back. So let us participate. I want to train you people something. Now, how many of you believe genuinely, the bottom of your heart, you believe that the team you have now is not the team you want? By show of hands. Let me see those hands. Perfect. Now, one of the biggest things I realized in network marketing, sometimes it's not the size of team. Imagine we have, so far in our team, I would say in our team, I think we are now at about 11,700 and something. 11,000, coming to 12,000. We're coming to 12,000 distributors. But can I tell you the secret? I tell you the secret? Out of the 11,000, 2,000 distributors are the ones that are active. I'm talking about active, real-time active. 2,000. If out of 11,000, 2,000 are genuinely active, imagine what happens to the balance. Are they considered inactive? No. Maybe they are finding themselves, right? Maybe they are still gathering themselves to becoming what? Active. But I could say that 2,000 are genuinely the ones who are producing. Look at this training center. It's a clear reflection of what I'm talking about. Right here, seated as we are right now, we're maybe 200 distributors or less, one of the two, right? So you find that in this hall as we speak, maybe 200 or less distributors are what are governing us today. Now, should we say that the only serious people are the 200 distributors that are seated in a training hall? No. I believe there are also serious distributors out there, right? So the real question is, it's not about the most important thing which we do or the most biggest mistake we make. It's not about the head count. It's not about the head what? Count. It's not about the number of people in your team. This is the mindset we have to shift from. Because if you go by the number of people you have, I say that, for me I have 4 people, I don't think I can be a top earner. For me I have 4 people, I don't think this is for me. No, friends, the size of the team begins from the what? The mind. Tell yourself that. The size of the team begins from the what? Mind. The big team does not come from anywhere else other than the mind. It starts with a decision. Now, that's why we're talking about and saying income does not come from the size of the team. It usually comes from the activity. Now, I'm not saying you who has a big team, you're doing the wrong thing. No. And I'm not saying you who has a small team are not going to become successful. I'm just saying that learn how to use your numbers effectively. Because all of us are going to have at some point the same numbers. But there's going to be a gentleman who has 100 people, and his 100 people are doing more than my 100 people. True or false? And that's what you have to now understand. I'll give you a story of a gentleman who once was given a lot of money. He was given a lot of money. They told him that, I want you to return this money with a lot of money, but I want you to return this money with a difference. They told him a what? Difference. And his biggest struggle was understanding, how am I going to turn this money and make it a difference? Now, he understood that being given this money was a responsibility. So he thought the best thing at that particular moment was to try and save this money and then add on to whatever he has saved. At that point, he thought the biggest goal was making that money what? Be saved and not touched, but also increased. So that he has now made a difference in the money. So for example, if they give you 100 million and you bring it back as 101 million, you've made a difference. True or false? There's a difference. The 1 million is a big difference. But now the question becomes, the other friend that they told to bring that same money and make a difference out of, this gentleman was very, I can't say he was a risk taker, but I want to use, for lack of a better word, I think he was a risk taker. He did get all that money and distribute it in workforce. Now, they asked him, why did you do that? His answer was the biggest answer that shocked the whole people in the room. He said that a task done alone can get us somewhere, but a task done with numbers can get us further. The money that he had invested in all these people and this task that he had given to these people who he had got onto his team replicated the money amount of the key. Take, for example, if I give you 100,000 today, I give 100 people 100,000, right? And tell each of these 100 people with this 100,000, bring it back as 200,000, right? Definitely, me who saved that one extra million in the 100 million, and I've got 100 people who have come and brought 200,000. How much does the money become? 200 million. Are you now getting the statement? So it meant that he did a lot with the money, but it was the people who he had entrusted with this money to make a difference with this money. So it's the same thing. With you as a team leader, the first thing you have to understand is a big team does not come from anywhere else. And that's why you see in this training, the first step here is you have to outwork yourself. How many of you are going back home tired? You're going back home genuinely tired. You feel like you're tired. You know, if there was that, I was joking around with someone who was breaking our fast. I was telling him that, imagine if they told you today, the only way you break fast with us is if you had a guest, if you sold a product, and if you had someone who promised to join. Just those three things. Like I said upline, I think I would still be fasting up to tomorrow. Huh? Because it's tough. It's tough to make your days count rather than counting your days. It's very, very easy to count your days, but making the day count is another thing altogether. Now, outworking yourself is very important. It's one of the things that make you feel rewarded, because now the big team you're craving, the one that the 12,000 distributors you want, that team comes from a decision. Tell your neighbor decision. I'll say it like you mean it, like it's not training outside. Tell your neighbor decision. That decision is the moment when your business starts to change. Most of the people who have changed their business are one decision away from that change. I remember the biggest thing that hit me in the beginning was having understood that the number of the people in your network is not important. It's about you deciding the business that you want. Because I could sit down and say, I have the biggest team here, right? And then I would say, let me sit and then do nothing. And probably say, maybe I'll wait for money. But the question is, even with the size of team I have, I'm not the one who's making the most money in the company. True or false? So that simply means that someone out there, maybe with a much smaller team, is doing more with their team than I am, right? So it simply means that the decision that that person must have made was a decision that I want to make my team that is small like this grow, and one day it's going to come from my hard work and what? Effort. So I want you to tell yourself today that try and outwork yourself. Stop being in that comfort zone. That comfort zone is very dangerous. It can make you feel like the day is not shifting. It can make you feel like you have done everything, but somehow, somewhere, it's still 1 p.m. And you're like, I ever felt, there's that time when I realized that fasting was easier at office than it is at home. Eh? Has anyone ever experienced, for the fasting people, have you experienced that? Yes. The time runs faster even when you're in office. OPP comes, next thing you know, you're closing circle. Next thing you know, you've prayed the prayer of 1. Next thing you know, you've prayed the prayer of 4. You're in power hour. Next thing you know, you're hearing Allahu Akbar. And you're like, how did I reach here? The day is done, fasting is over, and you're like, yeah. At some point, someone said, how am I going to manage Ramadan? I'm having ulcers. The guy managed it, now we're on 29 days almost. And he's still fasting. I asked him what happened to the ulcers. He said that upline, I got busy. He was looking for money. So the biggest thing you want to feed yourself is the ability to outwork yourself. How many of you promise you're going to outwork yourselves? You're going to work yourselves. You're going to become, don't burn out, but you're going to outwork yourself. Promise yourself that. Then, track your production and not just your numbers. How many of you know how much you're producing in your business? Like you know how much you're producing in your business. Okay, let me take time. When you open your dashboard, there's that graph. Have you seen that graph? That graph is interesting. It tells a story about your business. If your graph is over jumping up and down, do you know what that graph means? It means that you're a seasonal networker. You understand where I'm coming from? If your graph is looking like, where's the marker, Hassan? If your graph is you know what I mean, right? If your graph is like this, it means you're seasonal what? Networker. Now, there's some of you, your graphs have been consistent, but they're consistent in a negative manner. They start when they're up here, and then they come, then they sleep like this. Have you ever seen that graph? Or it's just my dashboard? Let me draw them so that you see. You can open your dashboard in hiding or in your free time. Let me draw that graph. There's graph number 1, where your graph is like this. This one is not bad because it shows me you have your up days when you're up and when you're motivated. And equally, you also practice a lot of disappearing at some point. But then you push yourself together and you get up at some point again. But then equally, something happens, maybe they break your heart and you decide to, go back home and mourn, you come back down. Then fasting comes and you are energized, you pray to God, and then your business goes up. Then they tell you that, this recognition, we didn't recognize you, then you become moody. Then the business goes where? It's like that, you're seasonal, right? Now, it's not a bad thing. It has happened to all of us. It happens even to me. My dashboard has experienced this. This one. It has experienced it. And the one that I experienced that paid me the most was when I started my business. My business was like this. This was the most painful dashboard I ever had. My business began like this. We had 1,000-something coins. The graph was exciting. It was very exciting. But equally, the graph went down here. Then it camped, it got a heartbeat, it came up, it camped, it got another heartbeat, came up, then it went like this. And it stayed here for some time. It was here. I thought you could think, those heart monitors? At this point, I died. The monitor was now what? That makes that noise. At this point, I had died. Now, how did I resurrect myself? I'm not Jesus. I did not make any miracle. But the one thing I did was I understood where my numbers in business was coming from. I just started to track my business. I asked myself the big questions. How comes my business was doing so well in those months? What did I do right? I started now writing down all the things. I take time. Every time I'm in the Platinum office, I take time in my laptop. The person who ever steals my laptop, they have killed me. But I take time and then draw this thing. It helps me at times. I draw this thing and it's divided. All the things I've done right when my business is going well, and all the things I've done wrong. So I make sure I then come and then I look at this, I highlight it, but I put it in a plain color, it's okay. But these ones, I do it times 48, the size of the capsules, the cups. I do it times 48 so that I remind myself not to do these things again. Like, I try to remind myself to avoid these things because these are the things that make my business go down. And that, for me, helped me understand that opening your dashboard is very important. How many of you opened your dashboard today morning by show of hands? Okay. How many of you are promising to open your dashboard today? At least you're promising. You also know you're promising to open your dashboard. How many of you know you have no business opening your dashboard? You are like me. You may have no business opening your dashboard. Okay, let me tell you something. The most important thing is to always open your DTC. Always open your dashboard as much as possible. Because at some point you're going to get either tired of seeing what's there, or you're going to start learning what's there, but most importantly, you're going to start understanding what you can do to change what is there, right? So I started then going an extra mile, leaving the graph alone. I thank God for this new dashboard. Some of you don't know that dashboard changed, but it changed. The new dashboard now shows your personal production in a week, right? It then shows your personal production of your team on the left-hand side and your personal production of your team on the right-hand side. It shows it in form of BV and it shows it in form of CV. How many of you know that? Okay, how many of you, one day I'm going to do a technical training. Would you love that? We would love that, right? I'm going to do a technical training. Now, the system does this simple thing here. Now, why does it do it like this? It does it like this so that it can remind you how your business is flowing. And one of the biggest things I always worry about is the ratio between these two, the BV and the CV. It worries me so much because now, at some point, it makes you understand what is your team focusing on more than the other. It's not a problem to focus. To lean on what has made you successful is important, but remember to also work on what isn't making you successful, right? Now, it shows me how the team is performing here and here. But most importantly, it also shows me how my personal production is here and here. So the BV is the business volume. How many codes are coming in? Have you sponsored? Have you not? Have you had matches? Have you not? Right? Then the CV is also showed. Have you sold your personal products? Is your team on the left selling? Is your team on the right selling? Something of that nature. And for the platinums, it even shows your platinum breakaway. Right? Now, understanding where your team is getting that production, it now shows what you're supposed to emphasize as a team leader. It now says, if my team is inviting, if they're sponsoring, I need to start teaching my team more ways on how to do the activities of what? Sponsoring. If your team is lacking in the department of selling, now you need to improve on the things that can help you gather. You now invite people who are selling. I've seen the likes of Fiona, I've seen the likes of Ketra, I've seen the likes of, there's so many people, Rachel, the list is long, right? Now, all those people, you start inviting them to talk to your team leaders. It's important to do that because you now understand that these people are going to help your team grow. Because you as a team leader, maybe you're not in that position to help the team grow. And that's another thing of getting a big team. Sometimes it's good to accept that you're not the beginning and the end, right? There's no one who's the beginning and the end. Even me, I still have an upline. And even still, you can find motivation from your champions in your team, right? It doesn't matter whether you're an upline and you're learning from your downline. I remember Supriyan taught us TikTok, right? Farida, our crossline, had no reason to even share with us that information, but she did. So the whole aspect is track the numbers and also the production. Because we're having almost, this is what's interesting. Every 3 days, we sponsor about 100 people. 100 new people join our team every 3 days. Every 1 month, you find maybe between 500, 600, 700 people join the team, right? Now, the question becomes, of that volume, which one is yours? That's the first thing you have to ask yourself. Of that volume, which one is yours? Then the second thing you have to ask yourself, of the because now it's very, do you know what's funny? We're now doing, it's as interesting as it is, we're now doing more than 150,000 CVs, 150,000 CVs a month. So someone can have diamond volume. We have the volume that can make someone a diamond, right? But now the question is, again, of these CVs, which one is yours? That's the big question. Those are big question marks you should start asking yourself. That now brings me back to the tracking of your production. Because when you start tracking and asking those questions, you start now focusing on what you need to improve and what you're doing good. Sometimes you're good at inviting and you know also deep down. Don't be those people who are debating. I want you to stop that debate. What should I do more? Someone was asking me a question when I went to an up-country team. They asked me upline, where is the money? What do you mean, where is the money? The money is there. Where is the money? The money is there. It's in both. Whether you retail or you sell, friends, I want to give the news flash. You're all moving products, right? So it doesn't matter how you move them. So shift your focus from quantity to quality. Shift your focus from quantity to what? Quality. Imagine out of the team, let me show you what's funny. Imagine 50 people last month from the team. 50 people generated the company more than, I could say, they generated the company more than 50,000 CVs. 50 people generated the company more than 50,000 CVs. Right? 50 people alone, like 1 up to 50, they generated more than 50,000 CVs. So that is almost 15% of the company's production from those 50 people. Now you understand why they hold those 50 people like glass. Huh? Why they're recognizing them, why they're doing X, Y, and Z for them. Why? Because if you remove the 50, It's not to say that the 12,000 people in the team didn't do business. Again, I want to repeat, the 12,000 individuals in the team are not useless, but they have these 50 people have separated themselves and made themselves what we call the quality batch. If you're doing quality control, I want to tell you, friends, that your income will grow faster when you start minding about having people tagging along the journey rather than those who are contributing to the cause. There are some people who are in your team who are going to lead you to the next best people that you're looking for. And it's good to always understand how to work with these people. Many of us are starting to chase away people. Don't become headmasters. People are applying to your school, you chase them away. You are doing your cut. There's a chop in our school. We used to call it kavazi. You're going through kavazi. You're counseling people, chasing distributors. How? On their own money. You're deciding who should be in your team and who shouldn't. Friends, don't chase a person. Learn to groom people until they become the what? The quality. Sometimes this quantity can change into quality. True or false? How many of you remember Supriya when we had started a business? How many of you remember Supriya? You had seen Supriya when we had just started. Some of you are seeing Supriya in the finished version. Supriya was here looking like, you know these people who you go for UNICEF. Supriya was looking like that. The suit was swallowing him. The man was looking hungry every 5 minutes. Even when he eats, he looked hungry. But the question became that how did someone take Supriyan from being among the numbers to now someone contributing? You get where I'm coming from? It's just a mindset shift. The biggest challenge is you look at people and then you see this person is not producing. Be like, this one you're not like maybe a hour. You for you, I don't even have your time. Let me go away. You start avoiding people like they have COVID. No, let me tell you, what's actually funny is the transition that people can undergo. Some people are waiting to go through their metamorphosis process. From a caterpillar to a what? Did we do science? From a caterpillar to a what? How many of you believe you are going to be a butterfly? Oh, you're already a butterfly. Don't mind your applying. If you're seeing you as a caterpillar, for you know you're seeing yourself as a butterfly. By show of hands, how many of you believe are butterflies? God is watching. May I put up my hand? God is watching. How many of you believe you're butterflies? Caterpillars, don't mind. Butterflies, I want to see the caterpillars from the butterflies. Thank you so much. Now, friends, it's weird, but it is true. Not everyone in network marketing is going to become successful. That's the sad part. I wish I could change that statistic, but it's not possible. Now, once you make peace with that statement, you stop being that kind of this is what attacked me when I was doing network marketing. This is what made me hate it almost. I hated it so much when I sponsored someone and didn't have the same passion as me. I ever sponsored someone and you are at 100%. You are self-motivated. Even rain, even gun bullets would not stop you from doing your business. They would shoot you and you are somehow you're like this John Wick. You can't die. So you are at 100% and then you make a mistake. Oh my goodness, sorry. You make a mistake and you sponsor a person who's at 20. You can get annoyed for no reason. These are the people who make you have hormonal imbalance. You're stressed. Do you know why? Every time you see them, they are disturbing your hormones. And this happens, and it happened to me a lot. I would sponsor a person, he sees they're recognizing me, and he's not bothered. For him, it's like he's happy, he's clapping. And he's okay. Next month, he's okay. Next month, but one even adds to be among the people dancing, the dancing committee. And then you ask him, okay, I understand our time is coming. But then he adds on. There was a champion who made me want to move him from the group, and he told me it's God's timing. I wanted to even one day save my number as God in his phone and just call him and tell him it's your time. Because at some point, I realized that I was getting frustrated. I was getting very frustrated, right? But then this is where this slide comes in. I think these guys, they look like the team you want. True or false? If anyone said, this is my team, if you saw this and they said, these are my downlines, even you would stand somewhere in a corner and you smile. You'd be like, hey, which team do you belong to? They'd be like, Aziz. Okay, you mentioned your name. Which team do you belong to? Not mention the company name, OQATA. Some of you mentioned OQATA. Which team do you belong to? You mentioned your name. So imagine one day, these are your downlines. Let me tell you something, it's very possible because it starts by you identifying your power players. I was arguing with someone yesterday. My team lost. I was there, very, very annoyed. My kid wanted to say good night. I didn't say good night to him. I was very moody. I was very, very moody. My team lost, and it lost even more painfully. We lost by 8 goals. I asked myself, which coach is this? We lose by 8 goals? How? Anyway, but in that team, in that argument, it made me argue with this person. I don't even like football like that, but I like that only. I like that team only. I don't like football, but I like that team. So I was arguing with this person who supports the same team as me. He was trying to console me. He said, next season is not for our players are young, we have time. I'm like, this guy is mad. This person is having a mental issue. Let me first pull him down and first argue with him. I took time from my M&M schedule. I said, let me argue with this one. And it made me realize he could not name I could say he couldn't name more than 5 players who could start in a quality team. And I told him that's where our team is. You can't even name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players that can enter in another team comfortably. That's now what you have to self-reflect on. Ask yourself, among those downlines they're recognizing, are you seeing yours? Do you get where I'm coming from? This is the big question. Are you seeing yours? Because sometimes you may be among the people they're recognizing. But you know what's sweeter in network marketing? Do you know what creates leverage? Is when they're also recognizing your champions, your team. The moment you may not appear, but your team does, you're close. You're close to being there by default. The moment you are being recognized and your team isn't, you're also close from leaving us by default. Can I repeat that statement? Are we now, touch your ear like this. Touch your ear like this. I want you to touch it like this. Pull it closer to the stage. Pull it closer to the stage. Is it pulled closer to the stage? Some of you are not touching your ears. You're touching your face. Touch your ears. I'm not saying the face. This is where, again, this is why you need to pull those ears. I'm still touching their face. Pull your ears further. Now, touch your ear and tell yourself this. The moment you're close to the top is when they're recognizing your team even more than you. Because that simply means you're going to be there by default. You're going to be there by what? Default. But equally, the moment they're recognizing you and not your team, you're also going to do one thing and you're going to be close to. You're going to be close to leaving us by what? By default also. It's sad but true, right? Now, it brings us to understand that not everyone is going to contribute the same in your team. And this you don't have to become annoyed about. There are some people who are going to outproduce. Imagine someone is looking for 4,000 to requalify as a platinum. Rachel does 7. So even if you say, okay, let me exchange my team with just that one distributor, it seems like a fair trade, right? You just, if we're here in a marketplace, back then in the days of slave trade, some of you would have been traded in silence. Of course, the slave traders also never used to say that we're going to trade in public. They come and then we shout. No. They would meet behind a tree, then they would agree that you see that guy on the other side, hey, I'm giving you 2 people for him. Then they say, they look for you, the one who's not producing. They call 2 of you. Then they say we are exchanging you for the other guy. Something of that nature, right? Now, when you understand this, it becomes easier and you stop becoming annoyed. You understand that you separate the production lines early, which is important. Now, there's a practical rule in network marketing. 80% of your business will come from 20% of your people. I promise you. 80% of your business will come from 20% of your what? Your people. If your team, if all your 6 people are producing, you're the lucky bunch. Maybe for you have identified your 20% as fast as possible, right? Now, imagine I just gave you a statistic. We have 11 almost 1,700 people. But maybe I gave you another statistic saying 2K of those people are producing extraordinary. Like, they are the ones carrying the other balance. The greater potential is coming from 2,000, probably, right? But then it doesn't mean that the other people are useless. That's the other thing you also have to understand. As an upline, there's nobody in your team who's useless. Nobody. Some of the people you're calling useless are the people who are going to lead you to the next best person. The person who sponsored me in my previous company, he called me, and I joined him because, not because he was a good leader, I joined him because he was, I would say, a relative. And he was a relative, but he had just started his business. I think he had made about $500. I told the guy that, at least show me that money is able to be withdrawn before I joined that company. I just wanted to know, can that money be withdrawn? That's all I asked. He showed me the following week. It took him almost 2 months to make this money. That's why I delayed to join. It took him 2 months to make this money. And then when he made it, he finally showed me how he could withdraw it. When I saw I could withdraw the money I make, I then decided to join him. I remember it took him about 3 months to make about 40 million. From that time onwards, that's his income rose. His income grew to what? To an income of 40 million at that time. So it meant that he was getting most of the production at that time when I joined his network. Now it then makes sense that 80% of his business came from 20% of his people. So the biggest thing you don't also have to do is to redirect your support. Everybody deserves support, true or false? Is there anyone who says, for me, I support myself, I don't need any upline support? Put your hand in silence. Your upline may see you and be like, you even takes a picture. I saw you in the training, you said you don't need support. Is there any person who doesn't deserve support? I don't believe it's true. Everybody deserves support. But again, there's a statement that says some deserve support more than others. Now, this is going to sound funny, but it's going to become true. It's those people who are producing in your team, not the ones who are not producing, not the ones who are picking themselves up. We do it badly. We do it what? Badly. And this one I learned it from my upline and sponsor. He said it's actually supposed to be vice versa. You see that time you're spending giving a person who's still collecting themselves. If you give quarter of that time to a person who's already doing themselves, like they're already pushing themselves, you see a change in your business. But the problem is we do it vice versa. It's not a problem. It's not a problem to also save the team. It's not a problem. But try to make sure that 80% of your time is given to that 20% of those people. Like, if those people have any issue, their issue becomes your issue. Do you get it? Because those are your production lines. Those are your business people. Those are your partners. Those are your serious 20%. So whenever they have an issue, those are the people who need your support more than ever. The challenge is, us as team leaders, we go and do the opposite. We go and then we give the time to those people who are struggling. We say we are helping these ones so that they can become like the other ones. Let me tell you, that is the worst mistake you can ever do. That is like giving for I don't want to use that example. That example is bad. But that is like waking up and then you're not seeing where your money is coming from. And you choose to give it no time. Because those people that you're trying to work upon to make like the other ones, now the other ones are losing it and becoming like these people you're working with. That's what's funny. These other ones are going unchecked. They're doing whatever they think is right. They are pushing the business in the way they think is correct. Before you know it, they wake up and then you find that, what happened to the other guy? He was very good. Have you ever heard those statements? That guy used to be very good. That statement is the worst in network marketing. Never ever want to ever say it in your business. Now, the other thing we need to do as team leaders is to run with the runners and we walk with the what? Walkers. Yes, this one is important. This one is very, very important. This brings me back to this thing that was killing me. You're pushing someone who has come to give your business 20%. You want him to give you 100%. Someone has come to add 20% onto your team. That 20% is important. That 20% is what? Important. But then there's another person who has come to add 80% in your team. Is it, for lack of a better word in English, that 80% is importanter. Eh? For lack of a better word. But it is, okay, the real English word is more important. Right? Because that 80% that they're adding onto your team is now where your business starts to come out from. Because we have said here, stop wasting time a lot with your productive time with inactive people and give it to those who are ready to break out of their comfort zones. How many of you feel like you've broken out of your comfort zone? This year has really, like, it has tested. Yes, this year has tested you more than even last. How many of you are 1 year? You were with us last year, now you're with us this year. How many of you are like that? How many of you feel, those people, put up your hands. I want to talk to those people. Those who were with us last year, now you're with us this year. Put up your hands. How many of you those last year people, how many of you feel something has changed in your business? How many of you also feel like you have changed also? Hey, that's what I wanted to hear now. You've had? There is Hassan. The reason why their business has changed, they will not admit it, but they have also changed. Some of them had to adopt to recording these videos. Huh? Some of them had to give up free time. Some of them learned, for some people, they even learned how to, they learned how to invest in their business and in themselves. Finally, there are some people, when you look at them, they now look like their business. Some of them have added a new skill. Whatever it may be, they have changed. Tell your neighbor they have changed. Tell your neighbor they have changed. So the fact that they have changed, so has their business and their income. Now that's what happens with many of us in network marketing. Now many of us take long to go through that changing process. Many of us stay in that thing that makes the caterpillar fail to become a butterfly. Because it's warm, it's comfortable inside there. Do you know how the butterfly feels? The caterpillar that's halfway becoming a butterfly feels? It feels safe. It feels loved. It feels warm. It feels protected from all the bad things. But do you know what's funny at the same time? It never sees the sunlight. So it never has its wings breaking what? Open. So that's why we say you have to break out of your comfort zone. That's why your caterpillar is waiting for you to become a what? A butterfly. Right? Now, it then states that doing the daily activities is what drives our business. I don't want to say anyone is a time waster here. Is there anyone who's time wasting here? No, right? All of us leave home, just imagine the way you've dressed up today. Some of you are too smart. How many of you believe you're smart? You're smart. May God bless your smartness and add you more smartness. Because let me tell you, the hardest thing is leaving your house and you don't make money. I always tell most of the leaders I've worked with closely, it's always important. It's always important. As you're doing these 2 hours, stop becoming debaters. You know, there are a lot of people who wasted a lot of time. There are people who are no longer with us because they wasted a lot of time debating. We still left them in the debating class. They're debating about between retailing and recruiting, applying which one should I do more. Do what works. Have you ever sat down and said that if I'm selling, it's a bad thing? If I'm recruiting and I'm not selling, is it a bad thing still? If you're doing both, how many of you died by doing both? Huh? Is there any people who will need to start a saving, like this, they call it contribution? For them who died from recruiting and retailing. We need to contribute for them. Because no one died by doing these activities, but they got richer. The first thing I learned to understand was, at some point in my business, Hassan, I don't know why your instruments of power are not working. Anyway, every daily action should either bring you cash for today or build you the team for when? How many of you have a possibility of making cash for today? Whether it's from retailing, whether it's from recruiting. How many of you have that possibility of making cash of today? It's a possibility. Tell your neighbor possibility. How many of you have that possibility? Now, for those of you who don't have that hope, what has brought you to office? Huh? Because I'm asking that question, hoping all hands are going to be where? Up. No one subscribes to office without the hope. Tell your neighbor hope. that they are going to make money, or at least they are going to build the team for tomorrow. That's the one consolation I used to tell myself. That fine, I did not make a sale, fine, I did not recruit, fine, I did not pair. But the activities I did today, I've built the pipeline for the team of when? Tomorrow. And eventually the time tells, because time tells, I promise you, time what? Tells. If your business is zero today, and 12 months down the road, it's still zero, there's a problem with you, not the business. And the sooner you have a meeting with yourself, I promise you the next year it's going to be the same. The only challenge may be you may not reach up to next year. So the whole thing starts from understanding that journey. How did I get from zero this month, zero last month, this month again? I have been there. I promise you, they recognized us in the first beginning months. They recognized us after 2 months, right? After 2 months, they're recognizing us for the income we made. I remember seeing my check, I was very excited, very happy. We were over the moon, they even gave us numbers at that time. I saw there's a guy on TikTok who's called NASA. He has this walk. I was walking like that, right? That's how I was walking. But then, what saddened me was the next month, explain to me. Explain to who? To me. The next month, and I was a brass. I was a what? Brass. Explain to me how I went from 3 million to 200K. Explain to me. And you know what was interesting? The following month after, it became more interesting. I made a grand total. Tell your neighbor a grand total. I'm not hearing anyone. Tell your neighbor a grand total. Of $15. Like, Meaning the whole month, me who had a family, I worked for $15. Tell your neighbor, wow. That's network marketing. That is network what? Marketing. And for those of you who think that it's automatic, that you become CG platinum and then you're like this, in cloud 9, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. But that is network what? Marketing. The moment you stop doing these activities, however good you are, the money will not come. And that's why it says there are activities that should be done as a unit. Because some of you are saying you're good, but you're lying to yourself. You're the ones who make phone calls behind the speaker. You're the ones who follow up in that corridor. You're the one who wants to talk and invite people in the toilet. Do you know why? Because you want to do everything alone. And tell yourself that's the reason, again, why you're alone in the team. I'm not cursing anyone, but I want to tell you something. That the skills that you're missing, the money that you're missing, is in the people who are doing it right. This thing of us forming a cell, do you know why a cell was formed in network marketing? Because not one person is the person who's good in the business. Not one person. However much, I can tell you for a fact, however much Rachel is good at the top salesperson, she probably is not the top recruiter in the team, right? Meaning she probably is very good at selling, but maybe she's improving at recruiting. Am I speaking to someone? Imagine if Rachel sits with a person who's good at recruiting, and vice versa happens. Chances are high, you're going to see that person's business change in sales and her business change in recruiting. True or false? Do you know why? Because of working as a what? Unit. But some of you know your problem, you sit away from your upline. Because your upline is going to complain, that complaining that the person is doing is advising. The moment you look at complaining negatively or criticism negatively, then automatically you're running away from success. You should remove the emotion that comes from criticism. Just pick the point. I remember when my upline used to call me and abuse me and complain, I would look at him, I would keep quiet and be like, I've understood upline, I go back. I never said that, this guy, man, I even want to get him by the neck, and then, no, don't. Because even if you strangle him and you're more stronger than him, nothing changes. Your business doesn't change. Do you know what you do? You only end up in prison. And that's why you importantly need to understand that you need to encourage these two things in your team. Retailing and recruiting. Retailing will give you the money for today and also keep you going as you wait for the next sign up. And with a customized package. Tell me about customization. It is criminal not to even sponsor. Some of you are losing clients because you're fearing to make them join the business and they purchase at what? At the retail price. Eh? But let me tell you, that's the biggest way you can retain a client. It's the biggest way you can retain a customer. There was a guy, I told you last month, but one, even I sat down with her. Jordan had sold to my client, Femi Brew. I wanted to fight with the woman, but I couldn't. Do you know why? Because she had spoke the woman's language. I think I mentioned that thing in another training I done. She was speaking in her language. She understood the things faster. She picked the thing quicker. And I felt like she deserved the sale more than who? Me. But then I said we're going to play a game with her. I'm going to play the game to win. Not to lose, but to what? To win. I then phoned that same lady, and then I told her that I love the fact that you bought from our business partners. It shows me your interest in the product, and the product's what? Working. But guess what? I'll give you a free box for the fact that you're joining my business very soon. She asked me, why should I join? With an attitude. I said that, first calm down. First calm what? Down. First listen to me. Why should you join is number one. You're going to get more products of the type you like. She told me, are you sure? I told her, very sure. In fact, I'm going to give you 4 boxes. One, the free one that I'm giving you, and equally, the one that comes in the package, the 3 that comes in the package. Secondly, I'm going to give you a chance to pick 2 more products. 2 more what? Products of your choice. And on top of that, the next time you remember I asked her how much do you buy the product? She told me the price. I told her, what if you could get it much cheaper? And this time they pay you for using it. She said it's a lie. I told her it's not a lie. I told her, you come and show you how they pay me for swallowing these things. I showed her and I told her they pay me like this because I swallow these things for free. And then she said, eh. So I told her, even when you show another person swallow these things, they will pay you more money. I told her, you see all these people swallowing these things, this is how much they pay me. And she was like, wow. And then guess what? She joined. Then I was like, I also told myself in my head, I was like, let me see you buy from Jordana now. I walked away. I was like, hey, I have you. Are you seeing where I'm coming from? So you retain a client because now she's invested. I promise you not. I kid you not. She's invested on buying the thing from the counter. Every day she's selling like a border guy. There's this friend of mine, she likes talking like that. I hope she's not like. Then you know she starts to what? Sell it. Had I accepted defeat, I probably wouldn't have her today. Right? So, with the customization of the packages, you can actually do both. But many of you you're so focused on making the money of when? Of today. That's the challenge. You're not thinking about the money of tomorrow. The money of today is nice, but the money of tomorrow is sweeter. How many of you want unleverage? You want to wake up and you unleverage. Do you know they pay people every 7 days? After 7 days, they are paying people. The question should be on Monday, are you receiving money? That's the big question. On Monday, am I receiving money? Because if I don't receive money on Monday, I feel like dying. And that's why I then encourage these 2 things. Because I realized that there's money being received on Monday, but there's the money of every day. Is the money of every day sweet? It's very sweet. Some of you can't even save on the dashboard. Do you know why? Because everything that falls there, you even want to get in advance. Thank God that they allow us to withdraw weekly. Some of you would be able to pressing the button daily like this. You'd even withdraw your username. If you don't just micromanage, but lead by what? Example. Don't just become a manager. You know the fastest way to lose a good team is by managing them. You become a supervisor of OQATA WELLNESS SOLUTIONS. You even put the hand like this behind and you walk like this. You'll be like, are you inviting? Yes. Are you prospecting? Yes. Did you sell today? You even start calling people, first come here, do this one. Come. And then you tell them, what did you sell today? You even tell them as if they are giving you a report like you are students. That's the fastest way to lose a good team. Lead by example, friends. It doesn't kill. When you sponsor, trust me, your team will start sponsoring. When you sell, trust me, your team will start selling. There were times when Zaki was not selling, true or false? Now you check every person in his team. They're selling. They're selling. Do you know why? Because it's also led by probably what? Example. Now it's very important. The fastest way to build a big, to get results from a small team is by leading with the front line. That's the fastest way you're going to get results. But most importantly, I want you to learn to build your team with skill and not just motivation. Stop becoming motivational speakers, friends. Because motivation fades, but skills last forever. You know, you can't wake up every morning and then you're listening to Les Brown. I got tired of his voice. I won't lie to you. At some point, I got tired of his voice. Our plane would put us there, we were broke, and he starts playing the thing. At some time, there was a day, God forgive me, because there's a day where our plane used to charge the speaker. You know that speaker that plays in the morning sale? There was that day when my airplane was charging that speaker, and I got tired of Les Brown, and I came and I poured water on the speaker, and I pretended nothing happened. The speaker was not working. I was like, today we have survived Les Brown. Because we got tired of him. He would tell us you have to breathe as much as you want to succeed. I'm like, does he know breathing? Can I stop breathing because I don't want to become successful? I started asking myself those questions in this motivation. I was becoming negatively motivated. Am I speaking to someone? Every motivation, you start looking for a negative thing. You know why? Because you have no skills and you're not making money. Everything becomes sour. Now, the fastest way to avoid that is you have to teach your team how to approach their clients, retain them, and invite them. There's nothing more demotivating than when your person is selling and all of a sudden they sold, they appeared in 500 CV this month, and they disappear in the next month. There's nothing more demotivating. I promise you, that simply means that month he didn't make as much profit as he wanted. There's nothing more demotivating than when your champion appears in 330 this month and disappears in the next month. It shows he has not done the activities, he's not making money. So the question then becomes, what keeps him in the business much longer? Because you motivate him, you take him for pizza, all the pizza in the world will never save your champion and quit. He could even be working at KFC where he gets free KFC every day and he would still quit. That's the reality of the matter, right? Now, it brings me back to know that once you teach your team these skills, then all of a sudden, they will understand how to overcome objections. But most importantly, they'll learn how to close deals. Many of you leaders are leaving your teams to lose a lot of money. This is the biggest problem I've seen. This one. Yes, you focus a lot on having this, but you're forgetting this word here. Tell your neighbor conversion rate. Tell your neighbor conversion rate. Just like the videos on TikTok. Even the videos you do, you can do 7 of them, you can do 20 of them in a day. But the biggest question you have to focus on is that conversion rate. The conversion rate something has to change. If today they're not asking you how much, at least now understand what did I do differently on the video that they asked me how much, and then what can I change, and what can I continue doing? Because there are those videos of yours that went viral, true or false? Everybody is going to go viral. Don't even feel bad if you're not yet viral. The viralness is going to catch you. The viral vaccine or virus is going to catch you, whatever it is. But that time you go viral, ask yourself those questions. Those are the questions I ask myself every day. What did I do in that video? And how can I repeat it? Because it's in those videos that you did and had people asking how much, which one. Those videos there are your learning points. Those videos are the ones that are going to help you grow much faster. Those videos are going to help you perfect your craft much easier. It's the same way how this, I'm using her as a reference, but I'm imagining it's the same way how Cyprian must have talked. That's why you hear him talking about nerves 24/7. He cannot leave the nerves. You understand? The nerves have become nerves with Cyprian. And let me tell you, it's where he understood that's what made him what? That's what made him successful. So he's doing it and he's doing what? He's repeating it. He's learning how to lead it to other things. But most importantly, skilled teams outperform the large ones. I've seen a group of people have a smaller team and they're producing a number of codes. A number of codes. Imagine, how many of you know how much 4,000 CVs is? How much is 4,000 CVs? About 26 million, right? Or worth of sales. Almost 26, 27, give or take. Now, that 4,000, to develop it, sometimes it's not about the size of team you have. It's about how skilled is that team you have. How good are they to generate that production? If you want to maximize a premium, how many codes do you need? Oh, I forgave those ones. Huh? How many codes do you need to maximize the premium? And someone is going to get money today. How many codes do you need to maximize the premium? See how you've missed money? Okay. Anyway, moving forward, someone has missed money. I was going to give them cash because that person knows the compensation plan. Cash right now. So the whole idea is, the reality of the matter is, the moment you keep your teams understanding how they can make money, there will be no day where you're poor. There will be no day when you don't make money. You saw one of your leaders go from top 19 to becoming top 3 at some point, right? It's just, nothing changed. The size of his team surprisingly didn't change. It actually even reduced. Do you know what's funny? The size of his team reduced. You're arguing the upline, I'm the upline. His team reduced. But do you know what changed? It was his team's what? Skill. He had a bigger team before. True or false? Those people in his team, they had a bigger sale. They had more sales. They had more people. At some point, if you had that team and then we added the team of prison that joined us, do you know there would be no space in the training center? There would be no space. Some of us would have to work from level 3 over level which one, another one. Some of you would work from there. But that's what's funny. The team reduced, but the skill did what? Increased. So with a smaller team now, he's having more production. And that's where the difference is. Stop minding about the number of people who are sitting around you. Some of you say that, that guy is not making money sitting in a cell of 3 people. Who lied to you? Huh? Who lied to you? Some of you are looking for people's teams. You're trying to weigh them on a weighing scale. Huh? A big team does not mean big money. No. I promise you, a big team is not big what? Money. A skilled team is now big money. A skilled what? Team. Not a big one. A big one, you will become a school. Now, we move forward. Accountability. Tell me about accountability. Now, skilled teams understand that accountability is the part where this one is where emotions now start to happen. This is where now we start calling each other out. I say that you're not doing this correctly. How many of you can discuss without getting emotional with your uplines and your downlines? You share and exchange words without getting emotional. Not abusing yourself, not abusing, but you're discussing that today, Burhan, you have lied. You have not done this correctly. And Burhan doesn't get emotional about it, and he understands that, yes, upline, you're right. That this is the part, accountability. People perform better when they are monitored, yes, guided, but also held accountable. This one is true. Number 1, set measures that govern your team and act as DMOs. How many of you have DMOs in your teams? You have a program, small program that people have to do in a day. How many teams have programs? Teams that have programs, by show of hands. I'm not seeing people's hands. Are people just, is the day coming and taking you as it comes? Huh? How many of you have programs? You have a to-do list. Okay, if the team doesn't have, but for you have. Okay, some team leaders don't have, but for you have. Hey. So all of us don't have. I don't know what I'm asking you. Actually saying you have a company. How many of you, just put up your hand, by show of hands. I want to understand. How many of you have a to-do list? By show, genuinely, by show of hands. Now, the to-do list is important, friends. It helps you understand how your day should go. I always have 10 things I want to do in a day. I don't keep them many because the more they are there, the more they confuse me. I do 10 things in a day so that those 10 things make me feel like that day was good. If I don't do them, then somehow, somewhere, those 10 things feel like I've misfired. If I don't tick them, I feel like that day didn't add up. So having a to-do list is very important, but also having regular meetings. There's a team of, again, I come back to that. I'm using him as an example. I don't feel bad if I've not used you. All of you are doing a good job. But there's that team that they know they meet themselves every day. Like for some reason, I know some of you are tired of meetings. Tell your neighbor meetings. Tell your neighbor meetings. I know you're tired of them, but those meetings are where you share your weaknesses. It's where your upline understands you. It's where the team gets better. Don't get tired of those meetings. Don't feel bored. Don't feel drained. Because these meetings is now where you try to understand what has failed and what has worked, right? Then there's a reward. Every month we have a recognition, right? And it's not there by mistake. It's there intentionally. To do what? To reward the habit we want to be repeated. Why we are rewarding certain habits is the company wants it to be repeated, right? They are rewarding those who are sponsoring this amount of people because they want you to sponsor more, right? They are rewarding the people who are selling because they want you to sell more, right? Now, it's not to say that there are no people sponsoring and no people selling, but there's a certain target they want you to hit so that they reward you and say that that is the habit you want. That is the activity you want. That's the level of commitment you want. So understand and don't feel bad about being recognized or not being recognized. Understand as much as possible that a reward necessarily doesn't represent how active you are. It just signifies what you've done right, right? Many of you take the recognition badly. You take the recognition emotionally and say, because they didn't recognize me on the stage, I won't stop working. Because they didn't recognize you doesn't mean you're not working. It just means you have to increase a bit more of your effort. Because eventually, I promise you, eventually you're going to be recognized. How many of you, in any point in your OQATA history, they have recognized you for something, even if it's an upgrade, they have recognized you for something? Put up your hand. I want to see those people. They have recognized you for something. Okay, how many of you, they have not recognized you for anything? It's not also a problem. Put up your hand. They have not recognized you for anything. This is one step forward to change. Some of you are not putting up your hands, and that's why they're not recognized. Anyway, but you get the memo, right? Now, I want to end my training by telling you that work deeply with the willing and not endlessly with the resistant. Someone has even added, someone has added exactly the word. Exactly. She has put the exclamation point. You know that exclamation point? She has put it, she has said, exactly. It seems she's got tired of working with the people who are not willing. Don't get tired, my champion. Don't get tired. don't quit. Now, listen, I want you to focus on the doers. I'm not saying you don't focus on the non-doers, but it's statistics shows that it's very draining leading yourself to lead a team of people who are, every time you say that, let's push for 500 CV this month. They'd be like, upline, you've seen how much it takes to sell 500 CV. Us we're here to just sell and make some profit. Let's push for 3 in 30. Do you know 3 people applying? Someone asked me, do you know 3 people? I said, what's wrong with 3 people? Are they not human beings? He said that those people, me sponsor 2. They said they need one on the left and one on the what? Right. They didn't tell me about the one in the middle. And then he'd be like, this champion. Then there was a joke I mentioned in the group one day and someone just exited the group. I went in their inbox and then I told them, why did you leave the group? She said that it's already bad that they're not recognizing me. Kat, now you have touched on me. And I told her that, but what has made you leave the group really? That statement? She said that the statement was funny. I said that they're recognizing everyone in the team, but they're not recognizing our team. And then she added a statement there, then for you, why don't you change the team? I was like, I wanted, if she could read my heart, I wanted to say that if there was a transfer window in network marketing, I would have gone by now. but there's no transfer window. So the fact that there's no transfer window in network marketing means you can't change the team, unless those of you who are cross-lining. Again, some of you are cross-lining other people's people. Let me tell you, you do a transfer, you go from Man City, and then you end up thinking this is Barcelona, and then you end up end up going back, and the team even they said it. And you're like, what happened? I thought I left the team on paper. You know, there's that team on paper that looks nice. They're the ones who are smart, they're the ones who are there. You can even mistake and think that this one, the money is where? It's here. Kumbe. But anyway, honestly speaking, friends, this statement it's not to say that people in network marketing who are lazy, who are nothing doers. No. If you take this statement badly, then you have misunderstood my message. My message is just that every person in the team adds value. But there are those who are going to add a little more value than the rest. And I want to give those people much more time. Because those people are the people who are going to take your business to the next level. Understanding how to lead a small team to get the most out of them is understanding how to allocate time. Once you understand how to allocate time and energy, getting the most out of your small team will get you to make a bigger team. But the problem is, you spend a lot of time doing what I made wrong. This is why I understood how to get the most out of my people. I stopped doing this one. Because there are some people in your team who are going to come and then they are going to lead you. They are going to lead you by mistake to the next best person you're looking for. If I asked everyone to share their experience of how they were invited, some of you, do you know you were invited by a text message? How many of you were invited by a text message? Like they sent you a text message and you came. By show of hands. And again, he's working. You see? Let me see. Put up your hands. How many of you came by a text message? She's working. He's working. How many of you came and they called you and the person you didn't even know them? You didn't know. Look at these champions. Put up your hands again. Wow. Look at these top leaders. These are top leaders. They called them because the person didn't even know them. Imagine. Some of you, they called you. Imagine someone picked up a referral list and called you and said that we're expanding a company somewhere. And you came. You came to expand it. The expansion program is still on, friends. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you the best of your day and say that this is going to be a memorable event if you have not purchased a ticket. How many of you are there and you feel like you want to purchase a ticket, like right now? Let me explain to you what happened. You know, the last event we had, we were there seated and then we thought it was a joke. You know, when we started, we thought it was a what? A joke. They put out the tickets, they said there's VIP tickets, they said... Now, we were there thinking that the VIP people were not going to get the things they promised. I was there looking for my leaders, I was looking for my champions, I'm seeing them, every one of them is in ordinary. Then I was looking at some leader who came, she had missed the ticket, so she bought the tickets of 50,000 and she expected food. Now, lucky enough, I don't have a big appetite. So I had to gather my plate, and then I went and told the lady, add more food I gave to my leader. Now, she learned from that day. That's why today she's paying for the ticket. She learned from that day that never again, tell your neighbor, never again, will I wait for the cheaper ticket. People are getting bags for her. She didn't have a bag of OQATA up to today. I had to give it to her. I had to give her mine because they gave us so many gifts. I had to give her mine. And that thing is very painful, friends. What if they say that the early birds, they are giving them something extra? There's nothing more painful than missing an event. In network marketing, it's the most deadliest thing you can do. You reach there, by the time the event, you'll be surprised that Team Congo bought 1,000 tickets. We only left with 2,000. You'll be like, then the next day, you are sure that you are waiting for your money. You're waiting to sell omega-3. You did the video of omega-3. You got the client. You came. You're ready to make the payment. They say the ticket is done. And you're like, this client of mine of omega-3. You won't even punch them because they delayed to make the purchase. So, friends, I want to tell you that start saving now. May is not far. Imagine if you started saving just 10K every week. 10K. Okay, 10K is small. 20,000 every week. You can get the money without feeling the pain. The problem is you're going to feel the pain. You're going to get the pain of pulling out 200,000 and it pains you. You're like, ah. Even us, we don't get tickets like that. So why are you getting a ticket by? Some of you are going to sell and put a portion of your profit on a ticket. Open an envelope, give it to maybe customer care, whatever it may be. If you can't sell, don't give it to your upline. Your upline, you say that, no, you bring it, I keep for you. This event season, there are some of you who become accountants of the company. This event season, please, uplines, tell your neighbor upline. Tell your neighbor upline. Especially if they're near you, touch them and tell them upline. Forgive me this event season. Like, forgive me, don't take my money. Don't ask me to deposit with you. Some of you uplines have become masters at keeping deposits. Anyway, otherwise, friends, these tickets are key and important. Let's purchase them before they increase. On 2nd of July, they are going to 250. So I pray by May, we can all have our tickets, right? Let's invite massively for the presentation. It's going to be an amazing one. And let's meet at the top. Thank you so much. Have a good day.